Articuno. This legendary Pokémon was introduced in the first generation games Red and Blue. It is a large avian Pokémon with sky blue feathers and wings believed to be made of ice. This dual-type ice-flying type has the power to control ice at will. When it flaps its wings, it can freeze the moisture in the air around it, making it snow. Its name was derived from Arctic, which means icy region, and Uno, which means one. This Pokémon does not evolve, but it comes in different forms depending on its region. The Cantonian Articuno is the one described above, while in Galar, the Articuno has a psychic flying form. It uses its psychic abilities to remain airborne, and its wings, which bear blades, serve as a lethal weapon. This Galar form can be identified by its lavender and black coloration. Zapdos. This Pokémon is another legendary bird introduced in Generation 1 Red and Blue games. It is an electric flying creature with majorly yellow plumage. When Zapdos flutter its shiny wings, it releases electricity that can cause a thunderstorm. When it flies, it releases lightning bolts, and that causes a massive crackling and snapping sound. This creature allegedly only appears during thunderstorms and gains powers when struck by lightning. Its name is derived from the terms zap and dos. Zap is due to the bird's ability to hit its opponent with electric currents, and dos is the Spanish for two, indicating that it's the second legendary bird to be introduced. This Pokémon doesn't evolve. Rather, in the region of Galar, it changes its form to become a fighting flying Pokémon. The Galarian Zapdos has a red-orange body with black plumage and spiky feathers down its back and chest. It has powerful legs, which it uses to carry out powerful kicks. It doesn't generate electric currents like the Cantonian Zapdos, but when its feathers rub together, it releases a cackling sound similar to that of electricity. Moltres. Another legendary bird introduced in Generation 1 Pokémon Red and Blue games. Moltres is a dual-type fire-flying legendary Pokémon. It is covered in a light yellow plumage and has wings covered in blazing plumage. Moltres releases embers with every flap of its wings, creating an impressive flash of flames. It also can heal itself by dipping itself in magma. Its name is a combination of molten gotten from its fire-like aura and traits for being the third bird to be introduced in the Kanto region of the games. It also doesn't evolve, but it has a different form in Galar. The Pokémon becomes a dark flying type, and its sinister appearance, black body with scarlet highlights, indicates this. The dark energy exuded by this creature is so strong that almost no Pokémon can approach it. It also attacks by letting out this powerful aura that feasts on the minds of opponents, consumes their spirits, and reduces them to a shadow of themselves. Super Dark. Mewtwo. The Psychic-type legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 1 Red and Blue games. This humanoid cat-like Pokémon is believed to be the most vicious and savage of them all. It's extremely powerful and lacks compassion. With its glowing eyes, it instills fear into its enemy. Mewtwo can convert energy ahead of battle by staying motionless. Its name is due to it being a clone of the mythical Pokémon Mew, so its name literally means second Mew. Mewtwo doesn't evolve, but it has two forms. It can Mega Evolve into either Mega Mewtwo X or Mega Mewtwo Y, depending on the Mewtwonite it uses. When the Mewtwonite X is used, it becomes Mega Mewtwo X, and when it uses Mewtwonite Y, it becomes Mega Mewtwo Y. Whatever the Mewtwo can do, its Mega versions can do it in multiple folds. Raikou. Introduced in the Generation 2 games, Gold and Silver, Raikou is an electric-type legendary Pokémon. This legendary beast looks so much like a tiger with its yellow body and black stripes. Raikou appears when other electric-type Pokémon are in danger, and with its power to control storm clouds and send shockwaves through the ground with its loud cries, it's a very powerful Pokémon. Raikou is derived from the Japanese terms Rai and Kotei, which stand for Thunder and Emperor respectively. It doesn't undergo any form of evolution. This fire-type legendary Pokémon was introduced in Pokémon Gold and Silver, the Generation 2 games. It is a huge lion-like Pokémon with brown fur and a long light gray cloud of smoke covering its entire back. This creature runs across grasslands at high speeds to contain its extreme power. Due to its origins being associated with volcanic eruptions, it's no surprise that it can unleash massive bursts of fire that completely destroy anything it touches. Its fire is believed to be hotter than the magma of a volcano. Entei gets its name from a combination of En, which means flame, and Kotei, which means emperor. This legendary beast doesn't evolve into any other forms. Suicune. Suicune was introduced in the Generation 2 games, Gold and Silver, as a Water-type legendary Pokémon. It is a slim, four-limbed blue Pokémon with white diamond-shaped markings. This Pokémon has the ability to walk on water and purify dirty water with just a touch. When it walks by, the northern wind intensifies, showing its impeccable aura. This Pokémon is serious and calm during dangerous situations, making it a difficult Pokémon to defeat. Its name is a derivative of the Japanese terms for water and monarch, Sui and Kun. It doesn't undergo any evolution, and doesn't come in any other form like the other legendary beasts introduced in Generation 2. Lugia. Lugia is a dual-type psychic flying Pokémon introduced in Generation 2 Gold and Silver games. It shares similarities with a plesiosaur dragon and a bird. It is majorly silver-white in color, but features blue undersides. On its back and tail are dark blue plate-like humps that can be folded back to increase its flight speed. A light flutter of its wings can cause winds so powerful it would tear down a building, and a flap of its wings could cause a storm that would last over a month. This legendary Pokémon can split islands into smaller ones, and it can shoot air at its target. Its name originates from luego, which is the Latin for lying dormant. This is what the Pokémon does when it's not in action. It doesn't evolve. Ho-Oh. This legend was introduced in Generation 2 Gold and Silver as a fire-flying type legendary Pokémon. Ho-Oh is a combination of a phoenix and a peacock. It's covered in feathers that are predominantly gold and red, and its wings are prismatic, causing a rainbow to trail behind it. When it flies, its wings create beautiful, colorful rainbows. Ho-Oh is known for its ability to radiate happiness, however, that doesn't stop it from being vicious during its attack. It is capable of raising its target with a fire of great intensity. As for its name, it's inspired by Feng Wang, the Chinese phoenix-like bird whose name was Ho-Oh. Regirock. Regirock was introduced in the Generation 3 games, Ruby and Sapphire, as a member of the Legendary Giants. This rock-type Pokémon is a large creature made of brown and orange rocks. It has long arms with protruding shoulders and club-like hands without fingers. It also has a line of orange rocky spines running down its back, and its legs are short when compared to its body. When it gets damaged in battle, it searches for new rocks to fix itself up. A creature made completely of rock is definitely not one to be messed with. Its name is a derivative of Regis, which is Latin for royal, and the English word rock. Regis. Also a member of the Legendary Giants, Regis was introduced in the Generation 3 games, Ruby and Sapphire. It is an ice-type legendary Pokémon that is composed of solid Antarctic ice. Its body is made up of angular, crystal-like shapes and has 4 spikes on its back. Its 2 legs are conical, and its whole body is balanced on their points. Regis moves around by floating in the air, so it's usually cloaked in the air at less than -200 degrees Celsius. Anything this Pokémon comes close to turns to ice, and it can even survive when dipped in molten lava or even more extremely hot temperatures. Regis is a combination of the Latin name Regis, which means royal, and the English word ice, Registeel. A third member of the Legendary Giants is Registeel. This is a Steel-type legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 3 games, Ruby and Sapphire. It is a large robotic Pokémon, and its body is mostly made of steel. However, there are suggestions that its body is made from material even harder than steel. Despite this strength, this material stretches and shrinks easily. You could guess the origin of its name: Regis, the Latin word for royal, and steel, Latias. This legendary Pokémon was also introduced in the Generation 3 games, Ruby and Sapphire. It is a dual-type dragon psychic Pokémon with a bird-like body structured like a plane. It has no legs, so it floats around. The upper half of its body is white, and the lower half is red. It also has jet plane wings high on its rear and fins on the bottom near its tail. This Pokémon is a female-only species, which cries loudly when it's endangered. It becomes invisible by enfolding its body in its glass-like downy feathers to avoid danger. It can also communicate through telepathy. Its name is a combination of Lateo and As. Lateo means conceal while, as is a feminine suffix in Latias. Latias can mega-evolve into Mega Latias using the Latias site. This Mega Latias is one of the fastest Pokémon in existence. It outpaces a jet in flight and is capable of making swift turns. Latios. This is the male version of Latias, and it was introduced in the Generation 3 games, Ruby and Sapphire. Also a dual-type dragon psychic legendary Pokémon, it can fly faster than a jet Its physical features are like its female counterpart, however, it has a gentler nature and avoids fighting whenever possible. The Latios name is os derivative of lateo, which means conceal, and os, which is a masculine suffix in Latin. It Omega evolves into a Mega Latios using the Latios site. This Pokemon is also one of the fastest in the world, and it is both faster and larger than Mega Latios, Kyogre. This is one of the most powerful Pokemon ever, and it was introduced in the Generation 3, Ruby and Sapphire. This water-type legendary Pokemon has a massive whale-like body with 2 big pectoral fins, each with 4 white square-shaped nails. It is so powerful, has control over the water, and is capable of creating a huge rain cloud that could drown the world. Despite being fish-like, it can fly when it has no water to swim. It attacks its enemies with beams of light that glow a deep and brilliant blue. Its name is from the Japanese word kai, which translates to ocean. The ogre bit is due to its incredibly large size. Kyogre doesn't evolve, but it can undergo primal reversion to become a primal Kyogre when exposed to the blue orb. This primal form is believed to be its true and original form, where its power is at its maximum, Groudon. This ground-type legendary Pokemon is introduced in Generation 3, Ruby and Sapphire. The Pokemon is a huge, dinosaur-like creature with lava-resistant skin as armor. This extremely powerful Pokemon has control over the land, and is capable of creating an intense heat wave that could burn up the world. It is usually calm until it encounters its rival, Kyogre. It can travel on water by creating a path with magma. It attacks its enemies by converting the power of the land into blades of stones. Its name is a blend of the English word ground and the Spanish word don, which means landlord. It's quite a befitting name. Just like its rival, Kyogre, it doesn't evolve, but it can undergo primal reversion to become primal Groudon. But the reversion is done when it comes in contact with a red orb. The primal Groudon shares physical similarities with the Groudon, only that it is larger. It has weather-manipulating powers that nullify water-type moves, and its energy escapes its body as extremely hot magma. Rayquaza. Also in Generation 3, Ruby and Sapphire is the dragon-flying legendary Pokemon known as Rayquaza. This Pokemon resembles a serpent and a missile. It is a master mediator as it has the ability to stop endless battles of the greatest rivals, Kyogre and Groudon, by forcing them back to sleep. However, its mediating abilities doesn't stop it from being ferocious in its attacks. It has some of the strongest attack power of any Pokemon. It can summon cyclones to overwhelm its opponent, attack its enemies by falling from flight at high speeds, and can manipulate weather. Its name originates from Ray and Quasar, with the latter indicating its cosmic origin. If it's not holding a Z crystal and knows the Dragon Ascent, it can Mega Evolve into Mega Rayquaza. This Pokemon's ability is an enhanced version of the Rayquaza's abilities, Uxie. Uxie is the knowledge Pokemon introduced in Generation 4 games, Diamond and Pearl. This psychic-type legendary Pokemon is small and fairy-like. This creature always has its eyes closed, as it wipes out memories with its eyes. Uxie is a normally shy creature, but it will attack with brute force if it feels attacked or threatened. Its name is derived from a combination of the U of the acronym UMA, which means Unidentified Mysterious Animal, and Pixie. It doesn't undergo any form of evolution. Mespirit. This is also a psychic-type legendary Pokemon introduced in Generation 4 games, Diamond and Pearl. It also resembles a fairy with its partially magenta face, with 4 long drooping appendages, and tails that each have a red jewel in them. Its spirit can leave its body without dying, and return to its body at will. This creature majorly messes with emotions. If touched, it has the ability to completely drain the perpetrator's emotions. Its name is believed to be a combination of the M letter in the acronym UMA and the English word spirit. It doesn't undergo any form of evolution. Azelf. Azelf is a psychic-type legendary Pokemon introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl. It's also fairy-like and bears red gems on its tail. Just like the Mespirit and the Uxie, its spirit leaves its body without dying and can return to the body when desired. It also has the ability to control an individual's will, making its victims gain or lose their willpower. Azelf, Mespirit, and Uxie make up the trio referred to as Lake Guardians that are required to create a red chain, which serves as a key in the game Pokemon Legends Arceus with the red jewel on their body. They also have the ability to destroy this red chain. Its name is a combination of the A letter in UMA and the English word elf. Azelf doesn't evolve or change forms. Dialga. This Pokémon is a dual-type Steel Dragon legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearls. Its body is covered in gray metallic portions and light blue stripes. It has a chest plate on its torso, with a deep blue diamond-like crystal embedded in the center. The spikes on its back looks like a time gear, and that might be an indication of its time-controlling abilities. Dialga can speed up time, slow it down, reverse it, or stop it altogether. It can also visit the past, present, and future through time travel. It is capable of shattering its opponents with its time-distorting power, and also has the ability to destroy and create a whole new universe. Its name is said to have originated from the Japanese words for diamond and asteroid, Diamond and Dalgamo. Dialga doesn't evolve, but while holding an adamant crystal, it changes into a second form called its origin form. This is said to be its true form, and a form at which it has its full power. This origin form can release meteors and shockwaves, while its time-warping abilities become much stronger. Palkia. This dual-type water dragon legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearls. It is a theropod-like purple creature with stripes and markings of a darker shade of gray around its underarms and waist. This Pokémon has power over space. It can alter space and travel to faraway universes, alternate dimensions, and parallel timelines. It can also rip its targets along with the space around it. It can also create or destroy an entire universe. Its name is partly derived from Paru, which means pearl in Japanese. It doesn't evolve, but just like its contemporary, Dialga, it changes into a second form known as its origin form. It transforms while holding a lustrous globe. This form is also known as its true and most powerful form. Heatran. It is a dual-type Fire-Steel legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl. It is a quadrupedal covered in orange and gray spots, and has metal bangles locked on its legs. Heatran's body is covered in steel, and due to its intense body heat, its body parts are partly melted. When it opens its mouth, an orange glow radiates from inside. This Pokémon is fierce. It can cause a volcanic crater to erupt. Its claws allow it to dig deep into walls, and its feet allow it to stick to a surface, so climbing walls and ceilings is not a difficult affair. Its name is a combination of the two words, heat and transfer. It doesn't evolve, neither does it change forms. Regigigas. This is a normal-type legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl. Its body is covered in black stripes, and it has large bushes of moss on its back and feet. This Pokémon, which is referred to as the leader of the legendary giants, has the ability to survive in extreme conditions. It's also capable of working with extreme temperatures of magma and ice. If attacked, it goes on a rampage and shoots powerful beams of energy. Its name is a combination of Regis and Gigas, which are Latin terms for royal and giant. It doesn't evolve into any other forms. Giratina. This dual-type Ghost Dragon legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearls. It is a large gray draconic Pokémon with 3 gold half-rings on the side of its neck. It also has large black ghostly wings with red tips on each that resembles claws. Giratina is highly aggressive and territorial. It covers itself in darkness as it attacks and moves by levitating itself in the air. It is believed to be as strong as Dialga and Palkia. Its name is derived from Girari, which is Japanese for guillotine, and Platina, which is a Spanish word for platinum. It doesn't evolve, but it changes form. When it holds a Grisius orb or a Grisius core, it changes to its origin form. The Pokémon is at its full power in this form, and is capable of traveling through and controlling dimensions besides those of time and space. Cresselia. It's a Psychic-type legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl. It has a blue swan-like body and crescent-shaped ornaments on the sides of its head. Its wings are pink and glowing. These wings, especially its back wing, emit shining particles and radiate beautifully beneath the moon. Cresselia has the ability to get rid of nightmares, and its feathers are associated with good dreams. It's amazing at recovery and healing techniques. However, it can also protect itself when required. The Pokémon can release spores in the air to confuse its opponent and form a shield to defend itself. Its name is a combination of Crescent and Selene, the goddess of the moon. It does not evolve into any form. Cobalion. This dual-type steel-fighting legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 5 games, Black and White. Cobalion possesses traits of stags and goats and is covered in aqua blue fur and has spiky yellow horns atop its head. Cobalion's body is said to be made of steel, and it has an aura of a leader. Its glare is so powerful, any other Pokémon that encounters it will submit to its will. It also has incredible calming abilities. The name Cobalion is believed to be a combination of Cobalt and Champion. It doesn't undergo any change or evolution. Terrakion. It's a dual-type rock-fighting legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 5 Black and White. Several Terrakion is above Pokémon with black rounded forehead with two brown axe-like horns that tilt forward. On its head are several short spikes. This Pokémon has insane strength as it can destroy a castle with one blow. It crushes opponents without mercy. Its name is derived from terracotta, a clay-based material, and the word champion. It doesn't change forms or evolve. Virizion. Virizion was introduced in Generation 5 games, Black and White, as a dual-type grass-fighting legendary Pokémon. Bearing strong resemblance to a stag or antelope, Virizion's body is green, and it has long horns that end in dull curled points. Its legs bear resemblance to knee-high boots, and its hooves are black. It attacks its opponents by first running around them with whirlwind-like speed before cutting them down with its sharp sword-like horns. Its name is believed to be from Viridian, a bluish-green color, and the word champion. It doesn't change nor evolve. Tornadus. This is a flying-type legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 5 Black and White. It's a green, muscular humanoid Pokémon that resembles a genie. It can travel at incredibly high speeds and can create powerful storms that can blow down any structure. It alters the seasons with this storm and protects itself with a cloud shield. Its name is derived from Tornado and Aiolos, the ruler of winds in Greek mythology. Tornadus has two forms, the incarnate form, which is the initial form seen, and Therian form, which is revealed when it comes in contact with the reveal glass. Therian form is said to be the true form, which is more powerful. Thundurus. Thundurus is a dual-type electric flying legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 5 Black and White. It's a blue muscular humanoid similar to a genie. It's quite destructive as it's capable of causing fierce thunderstorms. When it flies, it tends to cause forest fires and shoot lightning. When attacked, it protects itself with mini thunderstorms and a cloud shield. Its name is a combination of Thundurus and the name for the Greek ruler of winds, Aiolos. Similar to Tornadus, Thundurus also has two forms, incarnate form, which has been described above, and Therian form. In its Therian form, it's like a dragon, and it has the ability to completely annihilate its enemies with its thunderbolts. Reshiram. It's a dual-type dragon-fire legendary Pokémon introduced in Generation 5, Black and White. It combines traits from dragons, birds, and mammals. It has a body like a dragon, and its arms extend to become wing-like. Its tail is ribbon-like, and when the Pokémon enters overdrive mode, its tail lights up with a fierce glow. Its tail also helps it accelerate when flying, and when in battle mode, it releases flame into the air, burning everything around it. Reshiram is derived from the Japanese word shiro, which means white. This Pokémon doesn't change or evolve. Zekrom. Just like Reshiram, this legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 5 Black and White. It is a dual-type dragon electric Pokémon that resembles a dinosaur covered in dark patches. Some of its notable features are its pointy teeth, wings, and tail. The latter lights up when it suffers a rush of emotions. This tail also produces energy for its attacks, generates an anti-gravity field that allows the Pokémon fly seamlessly, and whips up a storm when required. Its name is a derivative of the Japanese word from black, kuro. It doesn't evolve or change forms. Landorus. This dual-type ground-flying legendary Pokémon was introduced in Generation 5 Black and White. It's similar to a genie, but it's an orange, muscular humanoid. Landorus also has a powerful tail that not only gives it the energy required to provide the soil with nutrients, but helps in the creation of powerful sandstorms. Its name is a derivative of Land and Aiolos, the Greek ruler of winds. It changes from its incarnate form into a Therian form when exposed to the reveal glass. The Therian form is a more peaceful Pokémon, as it is majorly known for its nourishing abilities and not its battle skills. Kyurem. Introduced in Generation 5 games, Black and White, this Pokémon is quite intriguing. It is a dual-type dragon ice legendary Pokémon that has ice spikes on its wings and 3 conical spikes on its tail. Kyurem generates freezing energy inside its body that gives it power. It is believed to be more powerful than Reshiram and Zekrom, as it can transform them back into their respective dragon stones. Its name originates from the Japanese Wu-5 fur cold, Kyurei. It doesn't evolve, but it has two alternate forms which are activated with the aid of DNA splicers on it and either a Reshiram or Zekrom. In a process known as absofusion, Kyurem fuses with either Reshiram or Zekrom to give white Kyurem and black Kyurem respectively. The characteristics of these forms is dependent on the Pokémon Kyurem fuses with. There are several other legendary Pokémon you need to know about, and we discuss them in the next video. See you there. But before you go, you gotta like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.